The presenting sponsor of Moontower Soccer is FVF Law.
To find out what makes FVF a different kind of injury law firm, you can visit fvf.law.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Moontower Soccer. I'm Steph Cragnola.
And I'm Mike Cragnola.
And I'm Landon Cotham.
Whoa!
Let's go.
We've got Landon here to go through the All-Star Week. We don't have an Austin FC match to preview or sum up, but we do have a lot of All-Star activities that we got to participate in and watch over the week. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite moments, some of the things that stood out for us, some of the things that we want for the future. But first,
Wee-oo. Landon, you have to do it.
wee-woo.
Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
Nice.
It's a new boiler. We got green smoke today, right at the top of the transfer window.
Landon volunteered to tell us all about our new signing here from both a technical and personality standpoint.
I feel like I'm going to struggle to not slip into Moontower Landon today. I feel like I should not do that here.
No, you can.
And
All towers are welcome.
We did enough of that on the episode. This seemed solid enough that we did a pretty good little scouting report on him on the this week's Moontower. So go listen to that if you want the scouting report. From a SWOONTOWER scouting report, I will just say he seems very Eastern European.
Yeah. So Mateja Djordjevic is our new player. He is a U22 center back. And
Wait, no. I knew. Okay. I can't reconcile knowing from the news that he's U22 and like hearing everything about him and then seeing the video I just saw.
Go on.
He looks 40.
He does have the biggest beard of anyone under 38 that I've ever seen in my life.
Landon, is that how old you are? And is that why Mike chose that age?
I'm also 22.
Yeah, Landon's a U22, but his beard isn't quite as big as Mateja Djordjevic's.
My mind is blown right now. I really thought that was a whole man.
So Steph thought the U22 thing worked kind of like the homegrown initiative works, where it's he's not really from here, but he was in the academy, so he's homegrown, and there's some loophole where a 35-year-old can be a U22.
He has under 22 years of MLS experience. That's what the role really is saying. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I guess go listen to Moontower to hear more about him, but I have nothing else to say anymore.
I mean, he's like the welcome video could not have been more beige.
Yellow.
His shirt was beige. The wall behind him was beige. His introduction, I am a man. My name is Mateja Djordjevic. I am coming to Austin
To do football.
I play soccer. Yeah, like I'm so stoked that he's coming. I can't wait.
He's got a private Instagram account, so sometimes you can kind of glean some personality from there. That's not an option here. So we're gonna have to wait till he's on the ground, showing up in some videos. Maybe we'll get more of a view into that then. But for now, he's a brick wall of football playing Serbian.
That's right. Yeah, we on SWOONTOWER are doing our due diligence. We have requested a follow. We'll see if we are granted access to his 3 posts. I do want to call out that he has had 3 former usernames. So he has as many usernames as he has posts.
Oh, what were they? Did he have any fun ones?
It doesn't show.
Oh,
It just shows that he's changed his username 3 times. I wonder if it's just changing the number that he has on his jersey. Because his Insta account is Djordjevic.6.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, I want to say he was like number 25 or something in the tape that I watched.
As long as it's not an 18, let's go. Well, I'm excited to see him get here and see what he's made of. And I'm excited that it seems like we're good. We are full of contributing center backs through the end of the season. No need to change that up at all until ever.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what happens the rest of the window. Um, who knows? New boy alerts could keep coming, hopefully. We'll see what happens.
Maybe some ex-boy alerts too.
No,
I
Landon,
know.
close the window. Shut it. Every time a window opens, I have anxiety. Do you want to talk about the All-Stars?
Let's do it. This was a crazy week in Austin, and I am so proud of our city, and I'm so proud of the experience that we were able to show the rest of Major League Soccer and the rest of the world. And I'm so proud of Brad Stuver.
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier. I don't know if I've ever been like happier for or like more proud of an athlete. And like I've known more than one person in the Olympics. And like like this week I was like so like swelling with pride, like so overjoyed for what Brad got to experience finally in this like all-star at home. Everything about it, how he played, how he was featured. It just like made me so proud of this person that like really like I don't know him. Like he's a person, he's a professional athlete and he's done so much for this city and this team that it was just like I was like on the verge of tears because I was just like, look at Brad having his moment. It was so lovely.
Yeah, Landon, from a personal standpoint of someone who was at City Hall meetings and covering this since it was like council meetings and a beer review, how special was this weekend?
It was really cool. I mean, for all the things that Steph just said, like showing off the city, and there's been, I mean, people see games on TV, they see certain things, but when folks from all over the country, from all the different teams, all the different media outlets come and see firsthand for many days in a row, not just in and out for one match, several days in a row, how much the sport and this team means to this city. And even up in the press box where I spent Tuesday and Wednesday, there's like some kind of cynical people up there who see this all the time. They're all a lot of them are still romantic about the game, but they are in stadiums every week. They are covering teams every week, and a lot of those people were like, "Wow, this is pretty special. This is good." So that felt nice. But then talking about Stuver, I think it feels. I mean, it's nice to have someone representing your team. Like there's a sense of pride in that. But I think with Brad, it was even different than that, just because he was representing Austin, but then it also felt like an opportunity for Brad to be shown off in a way that we in Austin know he deserves and know that he's worthy of, and to have a spotlight on him showing how much we love him, how special he is as a player and a person. And again, cynical people up in the press box and listening to content that's been pushed out from the folks who are here on the ground. They're talking about Brad Stuver and how like special it was and electric it was in the stadium because of him.
Yeah.
I went back a few years of trying to find MLS. There was an MLS article that came out, I think today, about the atmosphere, and there were like 4 or 5 player quotes about just how incredible it was. And so I went back because I was curious if this is just something that the athletes say every year, and it doesn't seem to be. It is not something that's commented on as much as it was in this article from 3 or 4 years of pulling articles from the MLS site. It just feels like it was special for the reason that we know Austin is special.
Yeah. It was just so fun, and there was so much, right? Like there was all of the official league events, and then there were all of the side events that were happening. And something that I think normally you see is like these larger brands that will come into an all-star city and like put a thing together, right? Or like the supporters groups will put a thing together. But like the Domain North side had an event, right? And Nico Esteves and Brad Stuver were signing autographs, and there was a line all the way down the block for 3 hours for this like random interview session or autograph session rather. And like they're like it felt like everyone in town was getting in on it in different ways.
Don Garber even bragged about Austin a little bit in his address before the game on Wednesday, saying that Austin has raised the bar and that Charlotte needs to match it, because this is, I mean, he's Mr. Business, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's talking about corporate stuff a lot as well, and that from that standpoint, the Austin bid was really, really good, and then kind of met all those expectations. But just from an interest and attendance and excitement in the city, he talked about that as well, and that like Austin is, he called it the most successful. I'm gonna say best All-Star game ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, most success. Like, I don't care. I'm not a shareholder in MLS yet. Once it's a publicly owned company, I think it'll be different. I'll care more about that side of it. But like, best, I think definitely fits.
But also, I mean, I think that I'm skipping ahead in the timeline a little bit, but just looking at attendance, it was the most attended MLS Next All-Star game on record from MLS sources. 2,257 fans at Palmer Field, which, I mean, I was on the ground. I was sitting on the ground. Shout out to our friend Craig, who had like a little bit of space for me, Landon, and Mike. And there was just like standing, it was standing room only. And there weren't even places to stand. And so it was so cool to see Palmer Field that busy and for it to be that highly attended.
For a bunch of 16-year-olds from all over.
Mike was at the unified match.
Yeah, there was a whole section. There was like 2 full sections of people watching a unified match at 9 a.m. on a Monday in like, was it Monday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's fine.
I don't know.
The
Time is
doesn't exist
crazy.
this week.
So it was 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. It was 1,000,000 degrees outside, and like, I mean, there were vendors like Coca-Cola was there giving away free product, and like people.
And it wasn't just family; it was
Right.
soccer supporters.
Yeah, there were like people like me. I wasn't the only weirdo there, like disconnected from anything but caring about the club and the game. There were a bunch of us. There were dozens of us.
I mean, we've seen broadcasts of the skills challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
And
be
it was-
curious. I'd be curious to know numbers about that, because I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if it was the highest attended skills challenge too.
When they opened the second deck, that's when I knew things were like different here than they've ever been. Right. Like, it was just so cool to see. Everybody showed out. Everyone in Austin who did even one thing for All-Star Week should give themselves a pat on the back for like showing how cool the city is. Great work.
Yeah, it says 18,000 at the skills challenge, but I'm not seeing just from a first search on if that's record breaking or not. But
Just from-
18,000 people is a lot.
Just from memory, most of the ones I remember have been pretty sparsely attended.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we'll get there. So Mike had mentioned, so not just the MLS sponsored things, but Brad took time out of his wildly
Insane.
busy all-star schedule to do a laundry project event at Hop Squad to raise money for the laundry project, and then to do people's laundry on Sunday in a break from all-star media obligations. So hanging out with folks and then being a steward of the community in a really like just wild way for someone who does not have the time to do things like that.
Yeah, and I think the special thing about the laundry project has been Austin's embrace of it, right? Last year there was a like a funds and materials drive, and they got so much materials and like donated supplies last year that for all of the laundry projects this year, they are completely supplies out. And so we were just raising money. We were just there like asking people to donate their pocket change or their actual dollars. And like the vibe was so good. It felt like just a low-key hang sesh with our friend Brad, right? Like he was just sitting there hanging out with anyone who wanted to sit and talk, and like it was a really cool event.
And we will link that donation link in the show notes.
Yeah.
So if you missed the event, if you don't live here, but you feel like supporting the laundry project, we will make it easy for you to do that.
We did, though, find out that we have been wrong, Landon, and I wanted to apologize to you on the show. We have
This is our public apology.
Yeah, we have been mistakenly, apparently, attributing a dog identification to Guilherme Biru that is misplaced.
Yeah, we were told
In no uncertain terms.
no uncertain terms. I do not know. I should put quotes. Quote, I do not know where the idea came from that Biru is a golden retriever. That man is not a golden retriever. He's a Doberman. End quote. There's more, but you have to subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, that's a Moontower After Dark full quote. But
yeah, we can't say
any of those
words on this podcast that followed. But apparently, he is not the golden retriever we all thought he was, which honestly, like, how are we supposed to know? I said this earlier to Mike, but like, if that man had a tail, it would be wagging. That is just what he looks like. He just looks like.
And in our defense, he has floofy hair.
And the biggest like smile in the world.
Yeah.
So that is a Doberman.
Yeah, that is
Biru.
correction, Doberman. Landon, I'm sorry for having been
Such
wrong.
bad journalist.
Why are you apologizing to me?
It's your show. It's the name of your.
Yeah. We're on your feed. You're the dad, and we were the disappointment.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you kids.
That's nice. Speaking of kids, I would like to toss to the both of you because I was way too sleepy to go out to Auditorium Shores for the soccer celebration the same night as the domain activation, the laundry project event. I slept all night instead of going out. So how was that?
We talked about this on Moontower the other day. I'm like a little too cynical to have fully enjoyed a free event it was only free because of how sponsored it was. That being said, it was a very well run, super sponsored free event. And that was the first thing that I did that week. I think the same for Mike, but I guess y'all were out earlier in the day, but
yeah.
Just the attendance was crazy. I think that was kind of an eye opener for me. The first one, I guess, of, oh, people are paying attention to this and are excited about it.
Yeah, I thought Ilya playing soccer with the kids was just so cute. And the fact that he did it both days in a row, just really wonderful to like get out there and be a part of the community and do Ilya stuff. Just felt right. But like there were some surprises too. Landon, you had mentioned, and I know we talked about this on Moontower, but it's worth calling out for our SWOONTOWER audience who probably cares more, that Diego Rubio was just taking in the vibes, just walking around.
Yeah.
What was
just hanging out. I think it was. I assume it was his wife that was with him, and they have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see kids around, but maybe they were running around or playing in the game with Ilya. Uncle Ilya was babysitting over in the soccer pitch, but yeah, it did not look like he was there on professional matters. He was just hanging out.
Which is like so great to know that we have a community where people can feel comfortable and safe to do that sort of thing. While also like there's no way you were the only one that recognized him that day, right?
Oh, no, tons of people were talking to him. Not tons. It wasn't like swarmed, but he would walk 10 feet and someone would notice him and take a picture, and then he'd walk 10 more feet and someone would notice him. But like he was super happy to do it seemed.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's something that Brad has called out about Austin that makes Austin special. That like in so many other MLS markets, you can be the starting goalkeeper and no one has any idea who you are. In Austin, our bench players are guys that get stopped for photos and to like be talked to. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Other stuff that were highlights of the event. Clint Dempsey was there. I don't know if he was promoting a new EP or just like as a personality, but really cool that he was in town. We love our Texas legends. Brendan Heinzike, Brad Stuver, and John Gallagher were all signing autographs at various points throughout the weekend. I guess Brad's calendar kept filling up as more events were announced and MLS media was realizing how big a deal Brad Stuver is in Austin. So like what started as a pretty light week for him became very quickly like insane. So the fact that that man was still standing by the time the All-Star game came around is really impressive.
No kidding.
You mentioned Clint Dempsey. I during the skills challenge when he was doing like interviews afterwards or was like mic'd up at certain points, I heard myself say out loud, Clint Dempsey's my favorite cartoon character.
I loved that he participated, and after the passing challenge, you could see him like holding that like groin muscle, that the one that you always pull when you haven't played soccer in a long time and you try and make like more passes than you should. So that was hilarious to me as a fellow old. I knew exactly what he was doing.
Amazing. We are obviously not the only podcast here in Austin, and there were a lot of podcast-centered content events around all week. And I'm going to take a moment just because I'm going in order of time because it's the only thing that makes sense to me anymore. Little plug for Emergency Podcast and the Verde All Day. Phil and Moises, they ran a little hot take bracket challenge that I won.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's not obvious. I really was expecting to not win, but I'm very happy and very proud. What was my hot take? Well, you'll just have to listen and find out. We'll let you know when it's live, and then everyone can boo Mike and Landon.
Landon, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Was Steph's take hot?
So this is my hot take, is that Steph won the hot take challenge because her take wasn't hot enough.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad that you and I are aligned. I'm just saying I swung for the fences. I could have pandered and I didn't. I took a risk with a real hot take that was defensible. Landon took a risk with a real hot take that was insulting to everyone.
Could have lost me friends.
I will say that I guess it wasn't hot, but I didn't realize how tepid it was until I thought people had a much different opinion of like, not much different, but like I kind of thought I was in an echo chamber of like people who hate the same things I do. And I was surprised that it was as tepid as it was. My other hot take I will say here is that, but I didn't think of this until after the event. And so I should have used it. And if I had known, I would have, that there should be a moratorium on men starting podcasts. MLS podcasts. Like if you are a white man, you don't get to start a podcast until at least 2 other podcasts in your market are started by not white men.
I was gonna say 1 in, 1 out, but it's
that's what Zach wanted. That's
1
what he
in,
bargained
2
for.
out. So you have to kill another podcaster if you want to start one.
I think in Austin that is true. I think anywhere else, please start a podcast so we can have content for our opponent spotlights. Oh my God.
That's not a hot take.
Anyone in DC care about your team. Please.
Challenge mode. Impossible. So we went straight from there to the All-Star game, which we talked about the attendance a little bit. It was a really great vibe. You know, Mike pointed out there were a couple folks standing next to us with like, you know, just CVS poster board, like I heart number 20, and they're just like calling out their
They're my all-star.
yeah. And it's so like this level, you get to have that in the crowd so visibly. Somewhere like Palmer Field, like, he can see them, he can hear them. And it was just really sweet and really pure.
The
And
16-year-old boy named Grammy.
Grant,
Shout out to Grammy. He got a lot of fan love from his family. His full name, I think, is Graham, but I only know him as Grammy. So here we are.
He's
My
gonna
question-
he's gonna be a 35-year-old veteran playing for RSL one day, and you're gonna yell Grammy at him.
let's
from
go,
the-
Grammy! My question for the two of you is, did you see anything during the next All-Star game that like really stood out to you besides how tall everyone in the East is?
Yeah, from a like a SWOONTOWER perspective, the crowd was crazy. There, Lutz Pfannenstiel was there from St. Louis. Like a bunch of scouts from
Tons of-
other teams.
Tons of old men in polos with laptops.
Like it felt like business lunch at Palmer Field, but at like 8 o'clock at night. Like everyone had like a document up that they were like furiously taking notes on. It was crazy. Like there was a bunch of stuff in the match that was like, oh, some of these players are going like they're gonna be MLS players.
Sure.
Some of these players might even be like sold abroad, but like from the vibes of the show perspective, I couldn't believe how many people were at Palmer Field.
Also, Owen Wolf was out there doing like a photo op thing, and so there's
Yes.
just enormous line of kids waiting to go take a picture with Owen Wolf, which was really nice.
Yeah. Those pictures have been so great too. Like I think seeing Owen's progression from day one at Dick's to like the end of the next All-Star game and like realizing that people in Austin actually really like him has been like one of my favorite things to see happen. Because like he has been so sheltered and so like pulled back from everything that like hopefully this helps him feel more comfortable with the fans and with the support that he has. Because I know Danny even has made a joke about like, oh, I know the fans don't like him, but he's our best player.
Has
That's
he
a-
said that?
Yeah.
That's some of the folks in the press box made references of that as well, and it's like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I
Right.
don't think it's true. I don't think it really was ever true. It was mostly people were so irrationally mad at his father that they would sometimes like some of the hate would spill over, and it was still very indirect. It was like, oh, you're playing too, you're good, but you're playing too much because your dad is the
Yeah.
coach. But I think most of those people even only wanted him to play like 15% less.
Yeah. I honestly, I blame Jorge Duralde. Like, that's not the point of the show, but he is absolutely net negative in Austin.
It's been nice to see him like see that that's not true though. Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
that makes me happy.
Speaking of things Danny said, though.
Yeah, do you want to talk about, can I talk about my literal favorite moment of the entire week?
Yes, please.
Like, I know I talked about welling up with tears for Brad Stuver, but like pales in comparison to when Danny sat on stage with Tom Bogert and called him a snitch.
Yeah, I'm going to do your job. I'll be a journalist, a reporter, a snitch. Whatever.
So the Soccer Wise team, or I guess Kickback Media, threw an event at Haymaker, and it was very fun. We had a live round of draft picks for the MLS or for the Austin FC. Yeah, Austin FC Independent Media Best Ball League. We had an interview with Danny. I don't know what happened after that because we left for the skills challenge, but it was enough to hear Danny A, forget his cat's name, and B, call Tom Bogert a snitch.
This was, in my opinion, the best interview I've ever heard Danny do.
Same.
Yes, same.
I think
I thought the Cooligans interview would have been because of the vibe, but this was so much better.
I think having it in person helped, but the same reason why I thought the Cooligans thing, it was fine, it was good, but I thought maybe it would have been better is when you come at Danny like with a seriousness, he kind of clams up and is just kind of boring. But if you can loosen him up with those jokes, and David Goss is just expertly charming in that very specific way of just like instantly jokes and loosening him up. Like I think one of the first few words Danny said on mic was a cuss word. And like to get him that loose so quickly, I think was just great. And so that they did a really good job of making him feel comfortable and then just setting him up to be entertaining in a way that he's not always whenever you put microphones in his face.
Yes. And I think my obviously the Cooligans interview was great, but they did a lot more talking than I wanted them to in this setting. They talked over Danny a lot, and a lot of that is, I think their conversational style and the, just it being on Zoom rather than in person. There's like a level of elevated professionalism from the Soccer Wise team.
Yeah, I mean they're adults that their first job is not comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it was such a perfect mix of really getting to hear Danny's personality come out. It didn't feel like he was competing for airtime. It just like they set him up to shine, and it was amazing.
I did think it was funny that like Tom Bogert was like starstruck almost, like the whole beginning of the interview he's just sitting and watching Danny.
I wouldn't call it starstruck. I would call it like I don't know if someone he's interviewed has ever called him out like that.
I was gonna say embarrassed almost, because David was asking about like what it's like to be a person who is being reported on in a like transfer situation,
right?
And I don't know that Tom is put in that scenario very often.
That's fair. That's fair.
I really like Tom.
Yeah.
I texted Mike and I said, new hot take. I really like Tom Bogert. And I didn't dislike him before, but like I had only ever engaged with him on Blue Sky. Like it was just strictly through tweets for me. And like getting to watch him in person was so fun. And like he is a person, and that was a huge revelation for me on Tuesday night, even if it shouldn't have been.
I also noticed I've seen pictures of him, and then I've seen him in a box on YouTube, but I'm happy to report, I guess not happy, just like it's interesting to report that he not only talks and acts like New Jersey, he walks like New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but if you see him walk, you're like, that guy's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a very Jersey attitude. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The whole event was super cool, though.
Great. And we got to meet Susanna Fuller.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Who, like, she's so cool. And
You too, Landon, did you get a chance to talk to her?
I did.
Were you
This is my most embarrassing moment of the week.
oh my God, spill.
So I saw her over there. I think we were talking to Jordan Angeli.
Also
And
so cool.
Also
I saw
so cool.
Susanna not surrounded by people, and I wanted to go tell her to be sure to talk to you guys. And so I go over there and I tell her, hey, I'm Landon. I host a local podcast. And she starts asking me questions. And I say like, oh, you need to talk to them. She's like, oh, I already did. They told me about their show. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'll leave you alone then. and she was like, well, what kind of show do you do? And then I was telling her like what our show was, and that like we modeled it after the Total Soccer Show. And then out of nowhere, I like get emotional and start crying because I'm talking about Daryl Grove, and just like, okay, I'm fine getting emotional in front of people, but like I'm sitting here thinking she must think I'm a lunatic. I just walk up to her and start crying. But yeah, I was just telling her that like we modeled our show after TSS, and that like down to the point of like the attitude of being welcoming and like being quote unquote soft, in the way that Daryl Grove was saying, like, if this is soft, this like I think this is good. We need more softness in sports. And I was trying to tell that story and just like, nope, I can't finish it. I'll see you later.
That's not embarrassing. That's so beautiful. Like, what a cool moment to get to share with someone who obviously has been like impacted by that same level or that same like mentality in sports journalism.
Yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with Joe Lowry up in the press box as well, which lovely, lovely man, and who was the one who stepped in not long after Daryl passed to kind of fill one. He didn't single-handedly fill it; they kind of filled it with multiple people, but I think spiritually Joe filled that seat very, very well, and it was really nice to get to like know Joe better as a person and to know that he is as lovely and kind in person as he is on TV.
Yeah,
Very cool to know that he and Jordan had never met in person. We got to witness the first time they like
saw each other in human flesh.
Yeah.
It was wild. For our listeners who might not know, Jordan Angeli and Joe Lowry used to do an MLS podcast that kind of was my intro to like real deep tactical stuff. It was called MLS Assist. And basically they would break down one game a week from a like tactical perspective where like, okay, so in this moment you can see that they're trying to do this, and then this is how the other team responds. And like they would really go through the whole match and talk through what each of those moments and changes and like decision points were and why things worked, why things didn't work. It really reminded me of how MLS Assist and the call up worked in the same way that Moontower and SWOONTOWER work. And so to get to meet folks responsible for what I think of as our show formats has been such like a personal highlight of the week. That was really special. Landon, do you want to do our ad read with us?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. Moontower Soccer is brought to you by our friends at FVF Law, the official injury lawyers of Austin FC.
FVF is a different kind of injury law firm dedicated to community, transparency, and client education, and they have their own podcast called Summary Judgment. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
You can go to FVF.law to find out what makes FVF a different kind of personal injury law firm and why understanding your legal options can dramatically change the outcome of a case. Once again, that's FVF.law.
Our premier sponsor is McGuire Woods Consulting, helping clients in the public affairs space from lobbying at the local, statewide, and federal levels to digital and communications campaigns across the country.
McGuire Woods
Consulting has us in unison.
Say it at the same time.
Yeah, we're going to have the same reasons too, I'm sure. You do it, Landon.
McGuire Woods Consulting has offices in 10 MLS cities, but only advertises on this podcast because, Mike,
we have the best parties in the world.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah.
Contact our friends at McGuire Woods Consulting at mwcllc.com for more information. All right, do we want to talk about the meat of it now? Like we're into skills challenge time.
Okay, rapid fire questions on the skills challenge.
Yeah, Landon, what was your favorite challenge that isn't skee ball?
I mean, this is influenced by Brad Stuver, but the cross and volley to get like that was the loudest the stadium was, right? Was
yeah.
Brad Stuver just crushes it on the cross and volley challenge, which is an event made for him. And this is another one of my proudest moments is in the press box. I said, oh, I can't wait to see Brad in the cross and volley. This event was made for him. If it were the command the box challenge, that would be a different thing. And and Joe Lowry like cackled. I was like, yes, got him.
Yeah, we made similar jokes on like in the stadium because we were sitting down with the plebes, our friends, like normal people. Yeah, and CJ Fodre.
Right, sitting like right at the top of the north end in the middle, just like hanging out. Did not want to be recognized.
Everyone recognized him. But so we're sitting there with our friends, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of like a regular Austin FC game. Brad's all alone. The cross is coming into the box. There's a striker right on him, and he's got to make the save. He's been doing this for 5 years. You're welcome.
But honestly, like, Liga MX did a lot of scoring, or did a lot of... MLS not a lot of scoring. And Brad, I'm forgetting what the actual breakdown of scores was, but like basically Brad saved the cross and volley challenge for us.
Yeah. Between Brad and Denny Buwanga, we were able to pull out the tie on that cross and volley challenge.
Denny Buwanga.
Who, by the way, is the one all-star that Brad Stuver wanted on our team. We asked him at the Laundry Project event if you could pick any one MLS all-star to be on the team, who would it be? And before we finish the question, Denny Buwanga.
Yeah. I agree. Mike, what's your favorite challenge?
It's cross and volley. It's always cross and volley.
Does it get less your favorite when no one even tries scorpions and bicycles? Because that's
That
what I
is
wanted. I was like, why are you just being boring?
Yes, I do wish we had more athletic entrants this year. I was surprised that the Liga MX guys didn't do scorpions and bicycles. But it's still my favorite. What about you, Steph?
I really like the points one where they hit the targets.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think there's an element of it's really well structured in the time limit that you have because you have, all the like the 5s and the 10s and it's exciting. But then the AT&T logo starts moving and you get those like almost hits. And then like when it goes through, like that was, I mean, and being on the like end of it, like right behind the goal was such a cool, that to me was so much better than on TV.
That one's also very fast. Like,
Yes.
there's a lot of action.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite non-Verdissimo mascot?
I can't remember who the snake with arms is great.
Yeah. From Philly.
Yeah. Also, Sir Minty in Charlotte is pretty legendary. I think that one is like a good amount of stupid without like trying too hard. I feel like there's been stuff like since the creation of Gritty, there's been teams try to make another Gritty and they're trying a little too hard. I think Sir Minty kind of threads a needle of being real dumb, but also like kind of classic looking enough that a lot of people probably don't realize that it's kind of a dumb joke.
Yeah. I like Sir Minty's little face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the funniest thing about Sir Minty. I think if it had a different face, it would be less good.
Who did you see, Mike, doing the worm?
Oh, the Red Bulls.
That's right. The
mascot.
The Red Devil, or
it's a bull. It's just a red bull.
Oh, sure.
It does what it says on the tin.
It's no snake with arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is he your favorite?
No.
Okay.
Mike's favorite was the Old Spice deodorant.
Yeah,
can.
Honestly, so no, the Old Spice deodorant was mine. First of all, like shout out Old Spice deodorant. It's what I use. Like representation matters, and it was cool to see my deodorant on the pitch. Also, it was cool to see someone with huge, thick glasses who still had to be let off by the hand because he couldn't see anything. Like I really felt seen on that pitch. I too am blind and smell like Old Spice.
Great. Perfect. Shout out to the Austin FC supporters who like made art for Brad in the North End at the Skills Challenge. Sonia, Leo, like great work, everyone. Way to make like our all-star know that he was appreciated and show the world how much we love him. All right.
This is all you, Mike.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of sellies in the unified game. Full transparency, y'all. It was so hot. I only stayed the first half. The sun was beating down because at Palmer Field, the sun hits the concrete where you sit, starting from sunrise until about 5 p.m. And so
I didn't even think of that.
we were cooking. And I did not put on sunscreen because I didn't think about it either until I got there. And I didn't want to be so sunburned I couldn't go to the All-Star game. And so I left after the first half. But in the first 40 minutes, we saw 4 goals. They were all bangers. It was so fun. We had a bunch of different sellies. The game itself is streamed on YouTube, so definitely check it out. And I think for me, my highlight was either the West's celebration where on their second goal where the teammates picked up their goal scorer and he like did like a pose like he was laying on a couch, and then another teammate snapped a picture of it.
Oh,
I mean there were like 10 people involved in the celly, or the East team did a full team Diogo Jota celly, including the goalkeeper who ran all the way to the far post to sit down and play the video games. Both of those cellies are 12 out of 10.
I think I heard someone say there was like some type of like rowboat celebration as well, which is always a fun one.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether it was like a team sat dance or the canoe or like what it was. It was so good. The whole thing was just such a blast and such a fun celebration of like what soccer really means, right? Like and what sport really means. It's for everyone, and this is your constant reminder of that.
yeah. I want to piggyback just off of those goal Sally ratings as we get into the All-Star game itself, because none of these, we had 3 MLS goals and none of the Sellies were really Selly-y. And so like we're not even going to rate them. I mean, Landon, I guess you can. You're a guest. You can do whatever you want. But do you think it's because there's not an expectation of like bragginess in the All-Star team? Or like where do you think that mentality comes from that the Sellies were so like, ooh, high fives and hugs?
I think a lot of the explosiveness of celebrations in normal games come from the emotion tied up in the sheer competitiveness that exists within these human beings. And because they were like, okay, we're trying, they were clearly trying to win. It was a competitive game that both teams were trying to win, but it wasn't like your guys that you go to battle with every week. It was some friends you met this week, essentially. Yeah. And the game doesn't matter. You're trying not to go too hard because most folks have games this weekend. I think it's probably that they weren't taking it quite as seriously as they do a normal game, and therefore there wasn't that, and also the stakes aren't as high, so there wasn't that explosion of emotion that you normally get in a competitive game.
I wonder too if part of the reason for Sellies is like you've tried this play, you know, for lack of a better wording, like over and over and over and over and over, and it doesn't work 99 times out of 100. And the one time, like, there's a relief to the connection between players that you're working with week after week, like following through, like, that leads to such like dynamic celebrations.
Like this pattern works.
Yeah.
I think that could be true in some cases, but also I think sometimes you celebrate like moments of instinct that come off. And that's where most of MLS's goals came from. Like that Bouanga cross to Surridge was instinctual from both those players. That ball from Rossi that Ty Baribo scored, good Lord. That ball was beautiful. And like those are moments you celebrate as well. And they were both pretty tame celebrations still.
The only thing that I would push back on is, you know, if Denny Bouanga had scored that tap in, he would have done a flip. Like you
already running to the corner.
Like he's starting to wheel away as it is. Like he definitely would have done the flip. So I don't know necessarily if I buy it, but I hear it.
I buy it, and I think Denny Bouanga is different.
Oh yeah. Steph, you have a note here at the top of the All-Star game, and I think it's the most important note.
Yes. If you had to rate transactionally Lionel Messi for Guilherme Biru, how many rates out of 10 would you give it?
Landon, you're the soccer guy. So the trade is,
I don't really know like what I'm asking for numbers wise, but like rate it. Whatever your heart tells you to rate.
Yeah, so for folks who don't know, Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba both dipped on the All-Star game within like 12 hours of the game actually happening. And so they were both replaced by Guilherme Biru on the roster. Landon, rate the trade.
I give it 10 Guilherme beers out of 10.
So here's what I love about this trade. They have to get his name right now, right? He's an all-star.
Yeah, all-star.
All-Star Guilherme Biru has to be the way that he's announced, at least through the end of the year.
Yes, and I want every Apple announcer to say, "All right, I would like to send All-Star Guilherme Biru to jail." Like, wow, that tackle by All-Star Guilherme Biru was simply violent criminal. That's a yeah.
Bira did seem to be on his best behavior, understanding the context. I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to be here, guys, so I'm gonna play it cool.
I'm gonna play the last 15. I'm just gonna pop. Oh,
Part of me did wish that he went full on Biru and scored a goal, got in a fight, got a yellow card. And half the team's like, wait, who is this guy? Where did he come from?
Where did he come from? Yeah. We were talking, my buddy Peach and I were talking because Steph couldn't make the game because she had to go to work instead of hanging out with me. And Peach was saying that he thinks the All-Star game format should be every player does the thing that they're known for.
Oh.
And if they don't do it, they don't get to come off the field. And so like Denny Bwanga has to score a breakaway goal, do the front flip, and then he gets to like be subbed off.
So is it like a 17-hour game?
If it has to be. You know, like Guilherme Biru has to like take a ball in and like take it off his shin and then pass it, like nutmeg someone and like pull their shorts down and then score like an absolute ripper, right?
All right, well, we're going to talk about what we want to see in the All-Star Week in a minute. But this last question that I have is, we know that Brad wants Denny Bwanga. Who is your trade? Who would you boot for which All-Star? Tread carefully.
I think it could be just the flat out answer, period, but I think needs based for Austin also is Evander. Jessica Luther texted me during the game, why didn't we sign Evander?
She texted us that too.
And my response was, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't want to come here.
I told her that we didn't want to wait for Portland to sign DaCosta, and so we picked a different guy.
Maybe that's true, but I wouldn't be shocked if there were bids from multiple teams in, and he said, Cincy are winners, I'm going to Cincy.
Oh, that was going to be my next question, was the why. So
then I would take Carlos Heel, who doesn't care about playing for a loser, and also is phenomenal.
My answer is the same as Brad's. If I can't pick the same as one of you, because I would pick Evander. I would pick
Stupid, sexy Bwanga.
Stupid, sexy Denny Bwanga. I know that like he doesn't really solve our problems.
He makes our problems more fun to watch.
But yeah, and more handsome. And if what everyone is telling me is true, that eventually one day we're gonna have to say goodbye to Julio, then like your girl needs something to look at. Okay, what else from the All-Star game do you have in your heart? Because I wasn't there and it was a bummer.
I think it should be like the Pro Bowl, where every year it's in the same place. And I think that place should be Austin.
As much as I want to agree with that, I really like that it travels. Like, I think that's the right format for something like this, is letting each city showcase.
But some cities aren't good at it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So on Total Soccer Show the other day, they were debating like how much the All-Star game helps the league grow. And they had some good reasons for like, it probably doesn't at this point, but I didn't finish the episode yet. Maybe they get to this, but one point that they hadn't gotten to yet that I think is still very useful is that it may not be helping the league grow outside of people who are already paying attention, but it was a special moment for the people in Austin this week who are paying attention. And like, if it's not moving a needle nationally, I think it is moving a needle city by city as it goes around, if it's anything like it was in Austin. this week. And so I think, yeah, I agree with Steph that like I think going from city to city is nice and kind of a good celebration of the way they've been doing is like new teams and new stadiums and saying like, hey, it's cool here, and next year we're gonna go somewhere else where it's also cool.
I know you're both right, but it was so
Strong
sick
and wrong, baby.
to watch so many good players at Q2.
Yeah. I do think that's an important call out though, Landon, is like seeing all the people at the domain who were just at the domain and like learned about the All-Star game and what Austin has just because they were shopping that day and it was a Saturday and it was busy because it always is. Or the people who are Mexico fans and came out for the All-Star events because they were cheering on Liga MX. Like that was such a cool way to see our stadium grow in fans and in experience.
Yeah, my other thing that I want, East versus West.
We all want that.
Sure.
I think. Landon, do you want that?
Um,
I just spoke
personally,
for you.
personally, yes. I understand the like the business reasons why the Liga MX thing
Yeah.
makes more sense, and I kind of like it because it is competitive. Both teams were trying to win that game. But from a highlighting players, highlighting teams, I think it would be fun to do East versus West. And one of the suggestions they made on TSS was do it like baseball, where every team is guaranteed a player. And so every team feels represented. Because they were saying, like, are DC United fans tuning into the All-Star game because they have 0 players there? Probably not.
Right.
Hey, Andy Nahar's there. Andy
Oh,
Nahar
sorry. Yeah, maybe they
used
used
to
the
play
different
for
example,
DC.
but
No,
there
that's
are.
No,
No.
he doesn't play for DC
Oh, he doesn't
anymore.
play there now, right? Yeah,
No.
okay.
He's a legend.
I think I do think that the competitiveness, and based on some of the things that we were hearing earlier in the week as well, like with Mexican media holding their players to a higher, like, I think maybe inarguably higher set of expectations, and like taking it seriously when they lose the All-Star game or the skills challenge or whatever, it does add a level of competitiveness that I think is important because when I was watching the next pro game, like I I simply did not care. I wanted both teams to have fun. And there was more of I want MLS to win the skills challenge and the All-Star game. And I know that like I would probably feel like, oh, I want the West to win if we have players on it, but like I don't have a stake. Like I've lived everywhere. I don't have a very like East versus West mentality.
Yeah, I know we're running long, but one of the ways that baseball also gets around this is to play the winner of the All-Star game hosts the final. And so in baseball, if you win the All-Star game, your team has home field advantage, or your league has home field advantage for the World Series.
How much do you
so-
think that helps? Because I feel like there's maybe half the players are like, oh, we have a chance this year. I'm going to try real hard. And the other half's like, we're not going to make it anyway. I don't care.
I also don't they move? Don't they do like 3 games in one place and the others in the other place?
Yeah, that's home field advantage, though. If you get 4 games at home, that's really good.
Even if also the other person gets 3 games at home?
Yeah, because 4 is more than 3, and you only need 4 to win.
Yeah, but like okay.
It's also the order of them
Yeah.
helps. You get
Okay.
more games at home sooner.
I see. All right. Well, this isn't a baseball podcast. Thank goodness. Landon, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was really fun to recap the week. I think like we all were able to be in different areas of different events. And it was cool to get to kind of come together and share some of those perspectives.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, and it was fun to be on the show, and also fun to spend so much time with you guys this week because we don't get to see each other in person all that often.
Yeah, true.
That was really nice.
All right, y'all. I want to hear a man of your jersey, each of you. It can be an all-star. It probably should be an all-star. Or it can be someone completely random from Austin FC that you just love. All right, Mike, who's the man of your jersey?
It's
It
Guilherme
can't
Biru.
be, I was going to say, it can't be Brad Stuver because
Right.
he's the man of all of our jerseys.
Right. It's Guilherme Biru. All-star Guilherme Biru. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah.
I didn't know it couldn't be Brad Stuver because I was going to say Brad Stuver.
We all would say Brad Stuver.
Oh God. Steph, you go, and I'll think of another one.
Okay. The man of my jersey this week is Brandon Vasquez. It is heartbreaking that a season-ending injury happens right before an All-Star game, and I know it's not the most important game in the season, but having that recognition on such a national stage must just be so disappointing to have to miss. Also, we got news on Instagram that his surgery was today and was successful. So all of the love and healing to Brandon Vasquez, our Superman.
I'll give mine to Ilie Sanchez for just doing Ilie stuff and being out and playing with the kids and just being just like a good vibes maker wherever he goes. Everyone's happy when he's around.
Nice.
I love that. Make sure to visit the Patreon at patreon.com/Moontower Soccer and support this show and also support some amazing hot sauce.
Yeah.
We've tried it officially. It's dope.
Oh yeah, this is your first time talking about how good it is. It's so good. St. Plains hot sauce. Get it at every chance that you get. Thank you so much. Rate, review, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your moms. Tell your enemies. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.